welcome back to Crypto City. We are at season 9. Tonight is the season opener, and it is also the season opener of the final season of Crypto City. We're super excited. Just because it is the finale, it does not mean that things are ending here. We are actually wrapping things up with this series. It's going to be 9 seasons, 4 years we've been doing this. So this is pretty amazing that we've kept it going this long, and that is all because of you, our audience, and our sponsors, and our amazing team that has brought this to you for the last 4 years. So grateful to everyone who is here with us. Grateful to everyone who has supported us along the way. Our first season, when we started this, our first goal was to teach people. We came on here in this new environment that was relatively new for most of us, and we wanted to teach people about VR and about all of the technology behind it. It was just so much to learn, and we did that. We accomplished that. And then our next goal was to share, what people were doing with this knowledge that they were gaining. And we did that. We showcased so many people here in the metaverse who learned how to build worlds, build avatars, start creating and doing stuff. And then we started showcasing use cases, people bringing in their businesses into VR, and people who were teaching others, people that were learning, growing. It's been an amazing journey for so many people in here. We have people who have been here since the beginning that I've watched them grow from people who were, in the first episode learning terminology with us that are now building empires in here. So it's really been wonderful to watch everybody grow. And, this season we're going to continue on with some showcasing of people's use cases in here, but we're also going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about where this is going, where it could go, and some of the things that you need to be aware of as you grow with this technology, these platforms, and all of the crossover between IRL and VR. So in my mind, there is no better start to this season than our guest tonight, because he has been around in VR longer than most of us, and he has experienced a ton of things throughout multiple platforms. So tonight, I would ask you to help us welcome to the stage Rich from HumAI. Rich, please join us. Welcome. I should say welcome
Greetings.
back.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you.
Grab a seat. And thank you so much for joining us today, because we've had you on a few times in the past doing trainings. You've talked about a lot of the different things that you've done here in VR. You've talked about the marketing end of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that you've brought to the community. But before we continue with what you're doing right now and where your goals are set, I just want to make sure that people who are watching us for the first time, or maybe newcomers, have a little background on you. So you used to be, when I first met you, Second Life, Rich, because you started in platforms way back, and you were big in Second Life, which was actually a 2D platform. You're not as immersive as this. So tell us just a quick journey as to how you came forward and you ended up where you are now.
Okay, so, I was introduced to Second Life way back in the early 2000s. It was when I was at University of Cincinnati, and one of my friends had introduced it to me, and I always found it interesting because of the ability to build on it. And I was always interested in video game development, but my primary tech skill is software development, or like web development, and then also software development for Windows machines. But game development back then was, like, to do it for a console was really difficult and expensive, and you had to be on like a team or something like that. But I used to create these little Flash games. So Flash was a software by Macromedia, and you could run it in a browser. And I don't know if some of you might remember where you used to have to install the Flash
Yes.
in your browser so that you could see Flash. So I would write action script and I would build games and things like that. And Brown Diamond also remembers way back when I used to use these tools to hack games like Grand Theft Auto for PC and then change elements in it. And I changed Grand Theft Auto Vice City to Grand Theft Auto Gym City, put all my friends and her and everybody in it. And this is back early 2000s. So I was always into game development, but I never like made any money or did it in any way that was outside of just tinkering and poking around. But Second Life was a platform where you can upload assets, and as we say was, but it is a platform because it does still exist.
True, it's still there.
Strong, and it's got tons of people on it, and the people that use Second Life love it. I mean, Second Life is a mature, robust platform. It's got an economy, it's got its own currency, and everything. And I still have land on Second Life. I have land. I'm technically a wealthy person over there. I've got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, Linden dollar over there. And I've always had my premium account for years. And so, and I'll always keep it because I believe that the value of Second Life is going to continue to grow. So even though I'm not active over there right now, but it's still a platform that is, in my opinion, significant. So, but what I personally had an interest for are VR experiences. And so that's why when, Horizon Worlds, Mozilla Hubs, Allspace VR, those platforms were more interesting than Second Life because of the ability to create VR immersive experiences. And that's what I was mainly interested in.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of like, where Second Life comes in and how I transition into VR. But in the beginning, my name was Second Life Rich because no one was talking about Second Life. Everyone always talk about Horizon Worlds, and especially when talking about the metaverse, it's always just Horizon Worlds or, Decentraland back then people would refer to as metaverse or, but now, VR chat and these other platforms, but no one would ever mention Second Life. And that used to bother me. So I just that my identifier would be Second Life Rich, because my name is Rich, but the platform I started out with was Second Life. And that seemed to have been a little different than most people. So it could be an identifier.
Good way to spark up a conversation, get people to ask, what is it?
Right.
And then maybe drag some people over into that platform as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. And actually, Artsy. I introduced Artsy to it and she never turned back.
She never came back.
I took her on a tour. I gave her some Linden dollars so that she could buy some things, show her how the economy worked. And she went crazy with it.
Some people really embraced it.
Yeah, she really embraced it. Her and Rockadala and a few other people that really, really leaned into Second Life. And they're over there doing great stuff. So, shout out to them.
Yeah. All platforms have their value and everybody finds one that speaks to them and hits them the way that, they need it to. So you, after coming, through all these different platforms here in VR, you started seeing, the need to help people, teach people, educate people, and bring the community to another level. So you've been doing a lot of things over the years to help people learn and grow within, the VR community. You're doing your work with HumAI, Go High Level Marketing, all these different things that you have going on to help people. And, you've been a very valuable resource to a lot of the VR community. So thank you for that, first of all, because I've come to you and I've learned from you on different things. I've been part of a few of your groups, and I know that most of the people that are in a VR in our typical community have been to your classes or reached out to you for guidance on things. So, I do value you and the opportunities that you bring to people to help them grow and develop their skills. I also want to thank you, as you have been a sponsor of Crypto City for many years, and I appreciate the fact that you've stuck by us in our efforts to try and help grow with the community as well. But I do want to know, since your last visit, because like I said, you've come on, you've done some trainings for us and stuff like that, but some things have changed a lot in your world and the projects and initiatives that you've been doing. So I want to kind of hear from you, how your goals and maybe your attitude on certain things has been shifting and changing with all the different things that are going on in here, especially in the marketing realm.
Okay. For me, I would say, well, first of all, thank you. I really appreciate that recap and introduction. It's, very, very kind. So these days, I would say that I have, because of the sunsets, and also just because of all of the advancements with AI and with agents, and just kind of like where the world is right now technologically in many ways, it's like I'm at a point now where I'm starting to realize the difference between the technology and the business. And so the sunsets for me each time have been very impactful, because I've always treated these platforms like the same way I do my website business. So first of all, I'm a freelancer through and through. Like most people that build in the metaverse or participate in the metaverse may work other jobs and things like that. But me, I 100% work for myself and have always worked for myself. And because of that, I have to be very strategic where I put my time, because at the end of the day, everything has to, in some kind of way, lead back to income, or like in some kind of way. Otherwise, I shouldn't. Otherwise, it's not a business. It's a hobby, and I spend most of my time trying to earn money, from my business, not doing hobbies. So even though this is a hobby for a lot of people, for me, it's always been a business. So I always have to extract the business out of it. So when these platforms shut down, it really affects my business. Okay. It affects everything. And it's very disheartening. And so this last sequence of shutdowns was kind of like the last straw. For me, I really had to shift the whole way I'm looking at this stuff. So first of all, we're in VR chat, and VR chat has a tremendous amount of value. They have built a platform that has brought us all together and has made it possible for Kip to build this world, and for Kawan and CityGirl and the rest of the team, Blue Moon, to work together in order to do a production and host this show, right? So they've built a really nice platform, but they are not the technology. The technology at the core, all these features that we're in here enjoying, they exist in just Unity. Okay. And like, it doesn't have to be in this platform. And see, I never knew that, because I'm a software developer. I'm not a game developer. And so my Unity experience only came from building on the platform. So like Allspace VR, VR chat, spatial. I use Unity in order to build on those platforms. So I learned enough Unity to be able to do that. You don't really learn much outside of it, but Unity is so robust, and it supports so much that we don't even know about. We would never know about, because we don't need to know about, because we're focused on only publishing to the platform we're trying to publish to. So the reason why this is important is because I'm learning that I have to know the difference between, it's like, okay, if you're going to serve the people on a platform, that's fine. But there's certain things about my business and about my strategies that will not be hosted on a platform anymore. So like, for example, Civil Rights Institute is very important client of ours. We've even had Sabrina on this show.
Yes, we did. Yes, it was a beautiful world you created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, it was a total of 5 worlds for 5 of their exhibits. Each time they have an exhibition in their physical location, we rebuild it virtual, and we would host it on spatial so that people can come and enjoy that exhibit virtually, right? And it worked out great because spatial allows you to embed the world on a web page. So they have their website and they have their page for each exhibit where they talk about the exhibits. And then they always have a button that says virtual world experience. And you can click that and you can go in and you can experience the exhibit essentially as it was in a physical, but in a virtual experience. And sometimes they will meet people in there. So the same way they've given tours in Horizon Worlds, they would give virtual tours inside of their world in spatial, inside of worlds in spatial. So when spatial shut down, that all gets shut down. Now, that entire system, first of all, that they paid me for, second of all,
truth, that part, yeah.
Like, and they're literally my clients, so I'm responsible for them being able to have this experience, right? But there's literally no other platform that has all the features that I needed in order to replace it. But then even when I started going after looking into another platform to migrate to, it was like, but what happens when they go down?
Right.
I'm just going to be migrating again.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be this trend these days that at some point you're going to sunset. Everyone has sunset at some point so far. So it's just a matter of time. Why? Because this technology to host these things are expensive. And as they build these platforms and have all these people in it and stuff, it's like if they keep raising money, fine, they can keep doing it. But what about when they just want to spend the money on something else? Spatial is flat out becoming a different kind of company. They just want to do something different. Like they don't want to do this anymore.
Meta shifted gears too and went mobile.
Just shifted. They just want to spend mobile. They went mobile, and then they want to spend the rest of the money on AI.
So you can't win as a creator.
You can't win as a creator. But Unity's already solved this for us because you can build to different devices. And then also Unity even has their own social network for us to build our WebGL and upload to. It's called Unity Play. So the thing is if what you want to do is build a business in VR, you want to express yourself in VR, and you want security, then the path to go is to learn how to host your own worlds and experiences, because no one can sunset you, but you can have all the same features. If you go today, spatial sunsets, and today it went live. If you go to CRIISC.world, and you can go in your headset browser, you can go on your computer, you can go on your phone. But if you go there, you'll be able to experience all of the exhibits. So they're all back online now. They're all safely on the website, and we never have to worry about this again. And between using AI and the features that Unity has built in, I was able to solve this. You see what I'm saying? So, and I didn't have to rely on another platform. So it's about, for me, the wake up is learning how to distinguish. So it's like if you're trying to host events and things like that on VR chat because you want to serve the population on VR chat, that's a very good, idea. Do it. But know that at any point that VR chat decides to change for whatever reason, when they pivot, then they're not going to care about what you had going on. And that's the only thing. So if you know, it's like we always have to make our decisions. It's like, do I build over here or do I self-host? And maybe some stuff you self-host. That's how I'm doing some stuff. I'm self-hosting. I'll never build like for a client like Civil Rights Institute. I'll never build them on another platform again. I'll always host them on my own servers from now on.
Well, that's it right there is a huge thing. Like, do you build on platforms or do you build on your own platform? And that is a very real question because, you know, there are a lot of world builders out here in our audience. You know, we got Kip, we've got yourself, we've got, you know, Cybershay has built, like, a lot of people have built worlds in here in different platforms and have not been able to carry them over or had to realign them all. And those of us, when we were in Altspace, if you remember when Altspace did their update, URP update, and everything turned purple, and everyone had a scramble and everything. But it was Unity based, so there was there was changes there. But when Altspace closed and people chose, do I go to Horizon? Do I go to VR Chat? VR Chat was the closest because it was Unity built.
Right.
But a lot of people went to Horizon, started building on screen. Look, I can build right in the headset with squares. You couldn't carry that here.
Right.
You had to, know, that was hard.
But you know, City Girl, what I've discovered, and I did not know this because I was one of those people. We had Iced Out Thursday. We had there's people in this audience that had Lux VR jewelry that wanted that Lux VR jewelry to continue to exist in the metaverse. And I had to figure out how to do that. Right. So there was, but I'll tell you, if I knew back then what I know now, let's say if we go all the way back to Altspace VR and I knew back then when they sunset what I know now, I would have taken the time to learn WebGL. Okay. I would have taken the time to learn WebGL, and I would have tried to encourage everyone else. I would have told Kip, because me, Kip, DJ Marcus, Jay, we all went to Spatial first, but then they left Spatial because they immediately recognized that the audio sucked. And so,
which is funny given the name.
Facts. It's like that's the one thing y'all supposed to have going on.
Right. That was part of the reason we left too. Right. We went there for a minute and we left because we were like, the audio here is horrible.
Right. It's like they had one job. It's in their name.
Choose a different name. Choose a different name.
Right. So, but yeah, so they went to VR Chat. So they was ahead of us. But you know, eventually, you know, we come over here also. And don't get me wrong, I love VR Chat. And it's a great platform. It's a but I also loved Altspace VR. I loved Horizon Worlds. I love Spatial for the reasons I loved Spatial. You see what I'm saying? I keep loving these businesses and they keep doing things that I didn't intend on. And so and each time that happens, not only do they break my heart, but they break all my strategy, my goals, my plans, and then all the money that I spent,
finances, right.
Right. It breaks that too. And so it's just, you get to a point where enough's enough. It's like, you know, and then when the new platform come out, it's like, yeah, okay, it's got all these features and you can do all this stuff. But at the core, Unity does all that stuff. In fact, Unity does more. All you have to do is build it. And I'm telling you, right now is the right time to do it. Claude Opus 5 will build anything in Unity for you. I don't care what your level is. You cannot even know how to move around in there, and you can build a multiplayer game with whatever features that you want and make it look great and all kind of stuff. And it'll do it for you. It'll just connect it through MCP or connect it through the command line interface, because Unity just dropped the Unity CLI, but connect it to your Claude code, and it'll do whatever you want, and it'll write all the scripts. It'll work the hierarchy assets. It'll work the components. It'll wire up everything. It will do everything that you want done. So
And that's a huge leap with AI, joining, joining in the mix. It actually, when we talked to, at the beginning about how like we were learning the terminology 4 years ago. Now we're like just giving instructions to AI and it's doing a lot of the work with us so that we're not having to, sit there and struggle. So you just said any level. That means everybody out here has the ability to do something.
Everybody out here is the only thing you do need is a computer that's strong enough to run Unity.
Yes.
But as long as you got a computer that you can install Unity on, just go and try. And if you don't know how to connect your MCP, just come to our workshop. We'll be happy to help you. Get with IT Trey. IT Trey's in our workshop. Get with CyberShade. Get with G-Deuce. Any one of them that come to the workshop, they know how to do it. IT Trey is all kind of stuff right now in Unity. IT Trey, IT Trey, when you can come up, I want you to come up and I want you to testify. I want you to testify on the Unity MCP because it changed his life. He's a different man now.
Well, the technology is so rapidly growing and everybody who's embracing it is flying off with it, which is amazing. Definitely. And it's funny though, when you mention about Unity and, learning Unity because that's at the foundation and everything else growing up from it, and for those of us who are in here who invest in different things, you talk about the financial end of it. So when I was, choosing where I wanted to invest my money and I was looking at all the cool things that we were doing here in VR and I was like, well, I'm not putting money into Meta. That ain't happening. I didn't put money into any of the other platforms. I put my money into Unity because I saw Unity was here. So if these ones fail, Unity's still there because it's got all these other ones it's still supporting. So it always makes sense to go back to the beginning. Now, am I going to get the fast hit on this? No. It's going to be a slower, more steady race to get more money, but it's stable. It's more stable. Now nothing in life is 100% guaranteed, but if one thing's supporting 10 things and one of those 10 goes down, it's still got 9 sustaining it, and so that's how I looked at it. And so I decided not to put any money into these other exterior things. And I went down to the basement and I said, that's where I'm putting my money. And it's done really well. It's like being, putting your money in NVIDIA because, it's the basis of all the other technology. So, I agree with you. I think you learn Unity and all the SDKs that come along with it to go into the other platforms.
Everything else is just build. If when you have Unity, if you just go to your build settings, you just choose which platform you want to build to, and you just choose. Like some platforms, you have to do additional installs, for your project. But that's it. Once you have everything installed, you just build for that platform, and then you take the file and you deploy it to whatever platform that is, using whatever steps is required based on the platform. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that because I had never used Unity to build for anything except Altspace VR, Spatial, or VR Chat. So I only ever used the SDK that they give. So I go through the steps to upload my scenes into their platform. I had never looked at the build settings. I never needed to. Another time I started looking at the build settings was when I built my MetaQuest app. So, and I had to build it for Android. And that's when I started looking like, well, wait a minute now. I had saw PlayStation in there and I saw, Xbox. And I'm like, wait a minute. You mean that you just like Unity does it? And then then the file just goes. Yeah, you're not in their marketplace. You got to go through but you can get it on that device.
But you can create it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can create it. So the thing is that's like, whoa, that was mind blowing. So, and I'm like, I've been building in Unity for years, and I'm a person that I consider would be, pretty good with it. So, and if I didn't know this stuff, it's like, man, I can imagine there's a lot of people that don't know this. And if you don't know it, then you don't know what all your options are. Because most people think that if I want to build in VR, I have to find a platform.
You don't have to find a platform. You should only build on a platform. Well, for me, I will from now on only build on a platform if I'm specifically trying to serve the people on that platform. So we have our Lux VR and we do our avatars. We're specifically serving the Lux VR community with avatars. So there's a direct investment between like the desire of the person and compensation for the effort.
Absolutely.
So there's no, I don't have to believe in the long-term vision of VR chat in order to serve a person's needs now.
Immediately.
But right, yeah. But let's say that what you want to do is you want to build this really robust, experience or whatnot. And what your goals are is to one day be monetized. And so you're hoping that VR chat will recognize you and accept you in the creator program, which I've been on this platform for years. And yeah, I don't have big traffic sites, but I got a whole lot of avatars out here, and they won't accept me into the creator program. Like, so getting into that creator program, if you don't have a world with enough traffic, they're not even going to accept you. So they want numbers. So you gotta, but I guarantee that I've earned more metaverse money than most builders in the metaverse, but it's because I've never been accepted in the creator program, but I've always had a website. I've always had my Go High level. I've always had my own Stripe and payment processor, and I figure out how much I'm going to charge. And when people want something, we negotiate, and I get to make the money for it. Right. So I don't have to worry about platform recognizing my value.
There's no cut to the platform either. So
there's no cut to the platform
it's direct
either.
To you. Exactly.
It's direct to me. Exactly. So, when you build, like, for example, when you the WebGL world that I'm working on right now for Brave Kindheart, she's got an app. When you go through the quest, and if you achieve the quest, you get a discount off her app. But this is actually hooked into the actual Stripe payments system.
Okay.
So and there's no cut going to Meta or anybody else if they go through it, get the discount, pay for it, all of that kind of stuff. It happens through the same process as it would if it was just on a website. Right. So Unity also has their own in-app purchase feature where you can literally, the same way you can do in-app purchases in Horizon Worlds or on MetaQuest, Unity has IAP. And you can use the Unity in-app purchase feature, but you can connect it to your own payments gateway, like Stripe or PayPal or whatnot. And so the you see what I'm saying? So you can
eliminate the middleman and just bring it to yourself. Just pay the gateway.
Exactly. When you sell something through Horizon Worlds or through VR chat, they don't tell you who the person is that bought it. They give you your cut, but they don't tell you CityGirl is the one that purchased this, whatever it was.
She might also like this, so that I can reach out to her and say, hey, I'm doing an update to that. Or here's another one that complements it.
You can't do any of that through the platform. But if you do WebGL, you can hook it into your own system. You can track it, and you can collect that customer information, put them in your own, pipeline, and you can, fire out emails and, things like that to let them know when you got discounts or new options available and things like that. You can nurture the client. You can't do any of that stuff if you are 100% just focused on, making money through the platforms.
Well, at the end of the day, they don't
expel any of that information. Yep. You have no way
to marketing.
Yep. Definitely. So just, I think that building your own platform, building WebGL can seem intimidating, but that's why I would like IT Trey if he can just stand right there and just give his quick little testimony, because he's a person that I'm telling you at the beginning, and I know Trey didn't know I was going to put him on blast like this, but he's a person that in the beginning, he truthfully didn't believe he could do it, but he comes to our workshop and we, go over things. And so slowly he's, started to learn how to use Claude. And then when he connected Claude to the MCP, he just went crazy. I mean, he just been building his little heart out, and it's been doing all kind of great things for him. And so if he can do it, I know everyone else can do it, because like I said, I just saw where he started from. And so I know that, other people starting from that position or even lower, because the AI is the same intelligence for everybody. I don't care who you are. You just connect the MCP and give it prompts.
So basically, what you're saying here is that for people who are interested in building right now in VR with the technology that we have, with all the things that you've learned over the years and everything, don't worry about, whether you're building for VR chat, Horizon, which obviously nobody's doing Horizon now anymore, but, don't worry about that end of it. Go back, learn Unity, learn how to build period, and then figure out where you want to place it out into. Would you say that, creators in general should, think more about how they're investing their time and their money? Because the reality is, if they're building worlds, maybe you've hired me to build your world. So I've said to you, for $500, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. So you say, okay, that's great. It's going to be interactive, all these layers, different worlds and everything. But at the end of the day, I'm out here as a creator also buying the assets to put in. So it's kind of, a cycle, whether you get stuff from Sketchfab, CG Trade, or wherever, putting things in, the textures and stuff, or the time and effort of yourself creating textures, creating assets. Because I know Kip can create amazing assets. These couches and stuff, he bing, create from scratch. So when people are spending their time and their money as creators to, like you said, have the platform shut down, lose all of that, you're saying at the end of the day, before you start building, think about it. Think about what your structure is.
Yeah, I would say if I could do it all over again, I would have probably, the first thing I would have built may have been an app. Like maybe I would have started with an app. If I could have done it all again, I might have started with app or WebGL. Because first of all, when you build an app, you can do whatever you want to do within the limits of the headset and then Meta's terms of service. But you don't have all the limitations that you got when you building for VR chat or Spatial or Horizon Worlds, because these platforms like VR chat and Spatial, these businesses, they impose restrictions and limitations because of their community guidelines and because of the experience that they're trying to provide. But so but maybe what you're wanting to do is outside of that a little bit, And so when it comes to building an app, you can just flat out do whatever. Like, as long as it's possible, you just figure out how to do it. So, but outside of building an app, then it's WebGL. WebGL, because you can host it, and you can host really significant sized worlds on a website for free. Okay. But, when you build a WebGL world, first of all, you are exposed to the full features of Unity. So you've got all what's capable, but it's like, I know that like, if you're a beginner, it's like, yeah, but building for VR chat might be easier than, just the raw Unity, but it's not true. Building for VR chat is still Unity. You're still learning Unity, but you're learning Unity down the VR chat road. You're learning a whole lot of stuff sometimes that you wouldn't even have had to learn. Like you're learning extra stuff sometimes so that you can be on this platform. And then there's certain things that you never get to learn because you can't do it within their platform. But if you just go ahead and learn Unity and build something useful in Unity, first of all, you could tell everybody come to it. Like it could be your nightclub, it can be your talk show, it could be whatever it's going to be, your store, whatever it's going to be. You build it and you host it. But that experience, you can take that and then you can bring it into VR chat. You can bring it into whatever other Unity-based platform. but you will have exposed yourself to the true nature of Unity. And then at that point, you go forward, serving people on the different platforms because, whatever reason aligns you with those platforms. That's all fine, but just, like maybe your main business world isn't hosted on one of the platforms. It's hosted on your own server, on your own website. In a way, you don't ever have to worry about it getting sunset. Maybe your main nightclub is hosted on your own website. I mean, even when it comes to and I'm a fan of apps also, installed apps, because like I said, that exposes you to just more features, and it's less likely that the headset itself is going to go away anytime soon. So there's a little bit more security in the headset, I believe. But I like having my own app. When we have our workshop on Friday, it's like, come to Nexus Planet. It's like, if it's a person that's new to VR, I don't have to tell them, okay, you're going to need a VR chat account, sign up. Okay, this is how you use VR chat. And then you get in VR chat. Now, this is how you get to my world. It's like that's step 2. Right?
So it's just one step, get in there and you're ready to go.
Yep, just get in there. Yep, just open up, look, go to your all apps. Search for Nexus Planet, install it, meet me by the fire.
So, like all right, easier. So, the one question people might have on that is, okay, you're creating your own app, but how are people going to know about that? How are people going to know how to get there? And I think the reality is that you go back to basics. You go back to marketing yourself on Instagram, social media, on your website, things like that. And you drive that traffic, because the reality is here in VR chat, we have events. Even look at Crypto City. If it wasn't for the Instagram and Facebook following that we've established over time in word of mouth, how would people even know this was happening? We've worked hard to put out social media week after week after week. And when we bring guests on, we push it out through social media. We also share the word, hey, I say, Rich, you want to come on? You say, yeah. Hey, Brown Diamond, I'm going to be on. Hey, IT Trey, I'm going to be on. It's basically basic marketing. So if you decide you're going to build your own app and host events over there and do worlds over there, same thing. You've got to share it. So, there's nothing out there right now that you can say, well, I'm going to do this and everyone's going to know about it. The only way people are going to know about it is if you market yourself. And and that's the same as if you had a world in here and you were trying to do something. So really, there's no extra effort to market yourself on another platform. It's the same amount of time and effort.
And even when it comes to the idea, because I think that you're touching on the idea that inside of this platform, that there's a sense that if my world is in VR chat, the people in VR chat can find it easier. Right?
Is that kind of,
but it's not necessarily true because their search doesn't work. I mean, I've got worlds that's been in here for years, and if I do a search for them, they still don't come up, and they're public because the search feature just isn't that good, and it match for popularity ranking or something like that first. And so that's one thing. But another thing is, it is so easy to get to another app. I mean, literally, all you have to do right now, if you wanted to go to Nexus Planet, is press your right controller menu button. And then, like, for me, it's right in front of me. I hit one button. You see what I'm saying? Right. But if I wanted to get to another world inside of here, I got to hit my left controller, and then I got to go to worlds, and then I got to go, search.
The whole thing. Yep.
By the time, so now, is it actually easier? And then it's easier for who? It's easier for VR chat users to get to your world, but it's not easier for non-VR chat users. If your world, if you know how hard it was, oh my God, Brown Diamond to tell you the amount of training involved that we put on Sabrina in order for her to sit in this chair that day with you.
I remember.
The amount of training that we had to do, the preparation. Oh my goodness!
Press this button, do this. Yes.
And we was hours, and we trained before getting in here. It just all kind of stuff. So,
I mean, I don't think any of the platforms are 100% simple. They all take a little bit of getting used to.
But if you have an app, though, if you have an app, you're already on the headset.
You're already there.
You see what I'm saying? You're already there. The person is 50% there when they put the headset on. Well, and now the other 50% is, okay, go to all apps, search for whatever the name of the app is, click install. And these are the steps that they're going to have to take for other apps. So let's say when it comes to me and Brown Diamond, we often send headsets to our clients, and our clients are people that most of the time you'll never meet because they're not part of the VR community, but they're interested in VR, and they'll use their app for the world we built for them in spatial or whatnot. And then they'll use it for, maybe they'll put FedExR on there, or they'll put, some other few experiences, but, they're not people that's, going to be hanging out in VR chat and things like that. So at that
social as much.
Right. Exactly. So for people like that, getting to an app is easier because they don't have to learn another platform. Whereas, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong. I'm just saying that it's not as easy as saying, well, it's easier if you in VR. It's like there are some things that are easier, and it is easier for VR chat users. And like you can pop out a portal and just everybody go to. But then you also got to think about, most of the time it's not polite to pop out a portal.
A lot of worlds don't allow it either.
They disable the portal. So then you back to having to search and try to get the person over there and all kind of stuff. So it's like, yes, the platforms offer certain conveniences. And there are benefits, and I'm not hating on the platform. Like I said, I'm a lover of platforms. That's why that's how I get here. But if for the things that are your main investments and the things that need the most security, maybe consider WebGL or building your own app. That's the kind of what I would suggest.
So let me ask you, all right, you've got HumAI, you've got High Level, and you're working over in Nexus now. So what's next for you? What can we see coming from you? And do you think in 2027, are you planning to continue with the guidance for the community for marketing? Or are you looking to maybe go in a different direction? Or are you going to create another app now that you've done one and you see how it is?
Yeah. So, okay. First of all, some things that are, definitely not going anywhere for at least the next year or so would be High Level. High Level is a really solid business platform. I stand behind it with the full force of everything I have to offer. High Level is a solid platform, and it's moving along with AI. Is packed with agents and all sorts of stuff that's right here, that's not getting outdated by the progress of AI. Like, it's right here. It still is going to maintain its relevancy in spite of AI continuing to get smarter. But there's a lot of things that's not going to do that. There's a lot of things that as AI continues to get smarter, it's going to lose its value. One of those things are tutorials. So me creating tutorials and things like that, I'm pretty much done with that because AI is going to do it. So now the only thing I want to do is tell you to use AI. Now we do have, we have 2 workshops. We've got our Go High Level workshop. You come there, you learn Go High Level, work through things with Go High Level. If you need a Go High Level, I offer the cheapest Go High Level agency, Go High Level accounts that you can get. Is $50 a month, and you get access to the full platform, all the features and everything. No limitations. You can't get it anywhere else for cheaper than $97 a month. But anyway, and then also we got support, and we got our workshops and everything. So you get your AI powered business back in and build your websites and your apps and all of that kind of stuff within your High Level AI studio. And so we got that workshop, and then there's another workshop for Friday where we explore AI engineering. And so if you're out there building software with AI and there's things that you don't understand, like maybe you don't understand how to build skills, or you don't understand about connectors, or, whatever, you can come and you can ask questions, and we'll work through things. And that's going to be every Friday. And it's only in the Nexus Planet app. And so another thing, I plan to continue building out the features of Nexus Planet. Nexus Planet is a place where anyone can come and host events, host their own workshops, meet, collaborate. It's got a lot of features right now to facilitate that. You can bring in media like pictures and videos. You can generate music. You can screen share, and you can do all sorts of other things. And there's more stuff that I'm building in for you to be able to do. And so I'll keep building that out. But besides that, I'm kind of pulling back on some of the building on these platforms and doing more like web GL builds for my clients and for my own personal projects. So you'll see, most stuff that I probably release as a virtual world in some way will most likely be hosted on my own server. And I want to explore integrating Go High Level with the metaverse. And so that's the thing, like even when it comes to my Nexus Planet app or when it comes to these WebGL builds that I've been making, they all have Go High Level on the back end. And so user accounts and, payments or like whatever, except for the MetaQuest app, the payments is through the Meta in-app purchase. So they don't let you use anything else and they take their cut. But the WebGL all has Stripe behind it and Go High Level.
So I love that you've been able to tie the two things together, that, that you're working with the most and be able to have it work for you instead of you doing all the work for it. So, if people are interested in connecting with you, we put up your IG account so people could reach out to you. Maybe they want to come on and, either download Nexus or they want to connect with you for these trainings and the workshops that you're doing. So if anybody's interested, if you're not currently following Rich, definitely do. And, check it out. The Go High Level is great because it's for anybody who's looking to market their business on any level of either, whether it's e-commerce, your website, any of that stuff. Rich can help you with it. And also, the trainings that he does are very user friendly. And, I love hearing you talk about the successes of IT Tray, learning your software and stuff. So I want to definitely highly recommend anybody who's looking to learn, please come see Rich or reach out to him on IG and he'll push you into the right direction for which workshop is best for you. I want to thank you again for coming on the show tonight to share where you are at right now and give your thoughts into an insight into working here in the metaverse and where you think it's most beneficial for people to go. We talked at the beginning about how this is our series finale this season. And I want people to leave with, guidance of where to go next. What's next? And I think that you are a good stepping stone for people to get the education to take their businesses to where it needs to go next.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to, people needing somebody like me, honestly, those days are done. All you need is your agent, Claude, ChatGTP. Now, don't get me wrong. You come to the workshop if you want a fellowship, if you like, just being part of a community and learning with others. But AI is the only technology that will teach you how to use it. And so, but can we just take 1 minute and have Trey just come down and give his
Trey, would you like to come down
and just right here on this, and I just want you to kind of share your what Unity MCP and Claude
come forward onto the square there so that you'll be amplified. Come forward a little bit. Keep coming.
Yep, you're almost there. To the right a little bit.
There, a little bit over.
Yeah, I think he's on mobile.
You should be good now. Say something. There you go.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Yep,
yes,
we can hear you.
Okay, I'm having internet issues, so I'm gonna make this quick. But ever since I've been introduced to cloud, like Rich said, and connected it via MCP, it has blown my mind. Like, I've seen it. I brought back old Unity projects. It helped me create and build it in VR chat. It's been amazing. Like, and I've always been the type of person that needed that kind of like hand holding type help. Like, I need somebody to hold my hand and help me out with things. And the Claude does exactly that. And I took rich advice by when I have Claude help me with things, I've always have another AI, which I use Gemini. Mm-hmm. So, and they both computers, so they talk to each other, like they know computer language. And so it's like crazy. So it's like having a mastermind right there by my side. Like,
you've got a whole team.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. So thank you, Rich.
I appreciate that, brother.
So I mean and that we've talked about that last season about how AI is a part of your team. You still have to do the work of, giving it what you want, giving it the instruction, but it will be such a powerful part of your team if you work with AI and you put in, you got to put your time in, but it will cut your time down significantly.
It's the 80-20 rule again. So AI is capable of doing 80% of the work. Okay.
But you got to put your 20 in.
You got to put your 20 is your taste, so you're the one responsible for taste. You're the one responsible for quality and assurance. You're the one you're the one that's responsible for the delivery. So
you're responsible for your brand.
You're responsible for your brand. And so, but AI will do the work. If you set it up to be able to do the work, you give it what it needs and you set it up to be able to do what you need done, it will do it for you. And so, that's just where we at right now. And it's only going to continue. Like, this is the worst AI is going to be. It's only getting better.
That
from
is
here.
Absolutely true. And it is growing leaps and bounds every single day. And it's amazing how many avenues it is now. I don't want to say in control of, but it's in control of. Yes. Well, thank you again for coming on and sharing all of this with us. This season we've got a packed amount. Just because it's our last season does not mean that we are holding back. We have a lot of guests lined up. I do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors. We've got DJ Marcus J, who created the camera system for this world, who has been with us for a very long time. And he films all of these videos that we put out onto YouTube. Thank you so much, DJ Marcus, for sticking with us through all of these episodes. We've got Kip VR, who has built this world, done all the updates. If you haven't checked out the updates to the Hall of Fame, make sure you check them out before you leave. We've got Rich right here on stage from HumAI, who has been supporting us and is also supporting the community with lots of information. We've got Fuchsia out here in the audience from the virtual fitness group, who is helping people get fit and have fun while they're doing it. And if you are interested in checking out an app for working out here in the metaverse, this one is one that is great because you can do it alone or with friends. And trust me, it's way more fun with friends. So definitely check that out. And if you're interested, hit up Fuchsia so you can get into her virtual fitness group. We got Sabashay, who's been with us since like day one and is still with us and done so many amazing things here in the metaverse. She's actually going to come on later this season, talk a little bit more with us about the things she's doing now. We've got Ice Cold Stacks from Ice House Casino and Lounge, who is, doing events in here and having a residency for artists to be able to come in to her casino and lounge and perform. And then she's also working with Ty Sky the DJ from BYOB events, and they're together doing streaming events, comedy events, music events, all different types of things to bring the community together and help everyone have a fun time here in the metaverse while also helping the artists promote themselves. And then Campeche City Media, who is working hard to bring together different collaborations in the music and hip hop industry within here. So we want to thank everybody who is working with us. And then also next week, on Crypto City, we will have VR Vibes come on and talk about the events that they're doing over here. They jumped over from Horizon and after Horizon Sunset, and they're learning how to shift gears and come over here and thrive over on VR chat. They could probably benefit from your episodes. I'm going to have them watch that. But they're going to talk about the events that they're putting on over here and what it was like to kind of shift gears to another platform. So thank you to all of you for joining us here tonight. And thank you for joining us at the beginning of season 9. I want to take a moment to shout out Blue Moon for running the slides tonight. She has been my day one who is still here through all the episodes of Crypto City, and Loudfire, who is crowd control, who is also the comedy behind the scenes. Thank you, Loudfire, for keeping us laughing all the time. And thank you again to all of you. Without you, we wouldn't be here. So have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you, City Girl.
Thank you.